You have to assign a secretary for the meeting.
Would there be a secretary?
Well, it can't be you, you're chairing the meeting.
Oh,
Yeah,
Then-
because I already finished my NIC meeting.
no, it's just one
It
time I
can't
didn't
be
bring
when
my,
it's the
I
chair.
didn't bring my binder with all my,
Um,
well, it's easy to do roll call. You can
Is
say
it Suzanne?
Felicia Salazar here, Suzanne Giuliani here, and Z Allen here. I've never been introduced. This is Jonathan.
Jonathan. I work with.
Yeah, I get that. Ruben?
Jonathan Rubin Gill.
Ruben, Bill.
okay.
Okay,
I work with a Jill.
is present.
Juan Carlos Jill.
Kyle
JP.
Pastor, present.
You don't know her?
Sure.
Skills aren't that common in women. I know a Gail who she's trainers at Shoeless.
We have a. Nicole Gill downstairs.
Okay, we did roll call, public comments.
Any comments? Applicable?
So who's the secretary, I'm sorry?
I just did roll call.
So you're gonna be not just roll call, the secretary for the meeting, just so I take note of who I ask for minutes after the meeting.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Should have run it here. This gonna be a very brief meeting.
Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Now, let's see if I have.
I didn't
a
have my iPad. I was.
Yeah, I said, I bring my binder, but.
And referrals, additions, deletions. No. We have a use no other. And this is review of the signature. Okay. At our last meeting, I passed it around and had everybody look at it and give comments. And to give them to Jonathan, so he takes into consideration, you know, what's best to, because this is a key piece to get sponsors this year. Because they see what we've done, what we're doing, and so forth. So, what are the comments? And go briefly. I think Z. We will do.
Like include you in the minutes as present.
Sure.
I have a store, I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
Present.
let's put you have code for web link.
Yeah, QR code.
What is it? QR?
QR code.
Yeah, she wants a QR code.
We've been looking at a lot of QR code stuff with other committees as well, because they're starting to do handouts and other printed materials that they're just doing. And it's also future proof, because we can update the website instead of having to update, so much content on them.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to mention something about going digital, like completely, like a brochure is wonderful, but maybe have a very limited, what are we talking about as far as number of copies of this?
I'll remind you guys, so the brochure was an idea brought up a couple months ago. And I had given you guys a quote because you guys requested it for the brochure, so I can reshare it with you. I don't know if you guys agreed on a number, but I do have the quote for you guys.
That number was agreed for printed paper or for digital or for?
And it,
Just for.
yeah, the idea of, no, the print, it was a printed brochure that you guys requested a couple months ago.
So,
So I'm just bringing that up because if you do want to go digital, I know obviously you guys still have to go to the full committee, but if you do want to go digital, then it has to be re-voted on because the committee voted on the printout.
Anyways,
And I'll reshare with you, but I know you weren't here on that.
so this one I comment on that. Okay. So a brochure like this. Information. And the other comment was. Was to use current photos.
and does the brochure also include a list of the annual activities. So they typically don't change from year to year, or
Yeah,
they don't
what-
change that much.
I'll,
Pardon me?
that's what I'll had added to, you know, we were sort of putting things together very loosely. And I think
Like
that's
the
something
tools
that,
that we do.
that is pretty safe to put on a brochure, because
right.
they usually don't change events. I mean,
Like
you guys have had some
Fourth of
events,
July is Fourth of July, you know, Women's Month is Women's Month.
some events have been poached by other committees.
Yeah,
But I don't see,
we used to have other communities, right?
I don't think it's often enough where it would be a concern, but
I don't think.
But
it was
something
you
to keep
when
in
we-
mind, even in the last 2 years, there's events, there has been a difference of events, as I'm sure you guys know, between last year and this year. Like, Art Basel hasn't taken place, and I think that was an event that you guys used to do.
I'm done for 2 years now.
Yeah, we're
Earth
doing
Day,
it.
you're doing this year, but you didn't do last year.
Which one?
Earth Day. And this is off the top of my head, and then MLK, I know you guys used to do it, and then last year you didn't do it, this year you didn't do it either. You're not doing it, I mean, you didn't do it either, so. You have, when it comes to printed, like,
We used
the
to do that.
suggestion, quite honestly, like brochures do feel a little outdated from marketing materials, but again, that's up to you guys in the preference. And one of the issues to look at with printed materials is obviously like once it's printed, it can't be changed. And now you spent all this money on it. So just something to
Whereas
keep in
if
mind
whereas
in
if
regards
it's
to your budget.
digital, it's easy to change, right?
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
continuously update.
and I know Jonathan has some updates regarding our website that can also help you guys market your committee.
yeah, our new website, it's rolling in April.
The number right now.
Okay,
you're
It's been
looking for
April,
that.
last April, so
Okay,
hopefully,
no worries.
hopefully it actually launches in April. And right now we do have QR codes for each committee, special meetings, we're updating their flyers and stuff. Hand it out to certain events, it makes it very, very easy. So Cultural Affairs does have one that links to miamilakes-fl.gov /CAC,
Mhm.
and that's future proofs, because we can keep that
Absolutely.
link, upload that website,
Nice.
again, instead of uploading or updating a brochure.
Of course.
So,
And I also feel perhaps, I don't know how you guys feel, but instead of maybe naming our events, what we actually call them, we can just put down what we celebrate per month, and it's also date proof and future proof, because March is always going to be phenomenal females or, you know, women of
Women's
distinction.
history.
Women's
Depending on
history.
whatever we do. with it.
Exactly, so it's a celebratory event for that particular month, but we don't have to go back and call it whatever we want to call it every single time we change something. It's March is March and April is April, and I mean, the autism people are gonna celebrate autism, we're gonna celebrate Earth Day, or just some of the ideas, and we don't even have to necessarily, I mean, the verbiage I think is super important, because we don't need to say, this is what we
Generic
do.
about
Well, a little bit more open with the way that we describe things instead of this is what we do, you know, these are some of the suggested ideas, or these are some of the events that we, you know, enjoy
Yeah.
planning, or the things that we've done in the
Like,
past.
for example, book talk.
We
We used
just
to,
a general
we used to
book
call it,
copy.
we used to call it,
You know,
Miami Lakes Reach, something like that. I don't know.
that book talk could end up being something at the library, it could be something here.
And
it
it's
could
very
be a-
generic and
a
it's open
Zoom
to every.
author, it could be a
Absolutely.
local author, it could be.
So those, yeah, so
So
those
we have
open for
to- we have
interpretation
to-
names.
Get the list and say, we do the website, when we advertise it, I think we're entitled to our flyers.
Yeah.
But in the website, we need to be more generic.
On the brochure.
The brochure, more
Okay.
generic.
Generic.
Can we link, not necessarily QR code, but are there other options for us to link some of the events or some of the pictures to some of the stuff that's already on our website, so it's a little bit more interactive if we do go with a print,
Mhm.
so that maybe a younger, more, you know, interested, oh my God, what is this? And just like click on something and it takes you to this and this, or can you do
So
something more
maybe like-
interactive?
a QR code that links to the website, but maybe one that links to a showcase of an event.
Right, like when we did the showcase for Black History Month and we did the choir and the chorus, I took some amazing video. And it's really good sounding quality, so something where, look, we've focused on this and the community did it. And it goes to that, oh, what did they do? And then they have that, the singing people, or when we do, this event for. Right, and when we do this for February, that we did your love story, like, have something that links to so people can see it because the wording on
Might
the,
not-
on the brochure is
yeah.
limited.
Right.
So people sometimes like the visual.
I think, to me, that sounds more like it's still. You're updating the website. Cause maybe it could just be the one QR code to the website, but maybe on the website you have those showcases. So,
Not ever sure, because it's-
so then maybe it's
Well,
like 5 QR codes on one.
Right.
It's one QR code
the-
that brings you to like the main cultural affairs hub. And
And
then
then
you
people
say,
can just look in there.
the tab for Black History, a tab for.
How do you
know,
feel
Medicare.
about, like, what do you feel we can include in a paper brochure that would also be interactive? Some kind of survey or some kind of participatory, some,
I don't know that.
I
there's
think
much.
when we designed this brochure, the idea was to say who we are,
Mhm.
you know, our,
Our
what
goals,
our
our mission
programs are.
statement.
And
and
mission
then we go
vision.
general. Say we work on chamber music, we use, then, you know, some of it, I think we took out. And we can go into, let's say, art, music, literary arts, you know, so that people know that we are involved in those, and then general, I was trying, I outlined something, and I don't have it here, I don't need the copy. Of what we do, community, events or something like that. So those are general topics that we can incorporate in the brochure.
So how do you generate interest from the brochure in order for people to get involved?
I'm guessing it could be, so you link directly to, my village slash CAC. And then maybe you point them to our social medias, which it's not just cultural affairs, so you do lose a little,
But this is just the cultural affairs
Right.
brochure, so
Yeah,
I agree, it should be something where you can get volunteers.
Like if somebody wants to do a sponsorship, let's say, can we have a form on our site that links to the brochure that says, hey, look,
The last paragraph.
mhm.
It says, we pride ourselves on consistently providing cultural events for the local community and welcome your input. Consider participating on the cultural affairs committee, sponsoring event, or giving feedback. We achieve our goals only through the generous contribution of and time of financial assistance from citizens, local businesses, private investors, government grants, and funds. If you're interested in any aspect of mention about, contact, and then, of course, we have to update this because now it's a different.
Contact who, the city or us?
No, we don't.
Okay,
Yes.
but why not have something where people can immediately go to a document that has their information on it for someone to get back to them? Like with an email or a response,
I
maybe.
think that's better than if you're gonna do an electronic. This is if we.
I know what you mean though. Yeah, like maybe on the
Yeah, I think
website,
we do. Yeah, like an inquiry form.
yeah, and then it could be whoever the liaison is at that moment. It could, maybe it'd be a pre-filled application.
Just an update on that though, just so you know, the website right now, I believe it has the liaison contact
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
So, because people have reached out to us before whenever they want information, like they're able to find our email, so I guess that would just be like an additional. In case they miss the email, here's the form, instead of emailing, they could do the form as well.
Yeah, because that's.
Well,
that's
I just wanted to let you know that we already have something similar on the website. Right now.
This is just like a general. Back then,
Should have a link for sponsorships and volunteers. I agree, I just want to make sure I get it down, should have a link for sponsorships and or volunteers.
And even if in the digital, one, we could have like something that links it, because I know you can do that, right?
The digital,
In the digital one. Because I go online and I
So-
see a bunch of brochures about.
So just for a ballpark figure, do you have an idea what? the
Yeah, I
ballpark
just
figure is?
reshared it with you guys, so it's. So we requested quotes for 75, 100, and 250. So for 250, it would cost you $272. For 100, it would be $160. And for 75, it would be $140. Keep in mind, this quote was provided back in June.
Oh, so 75,
So keep that
75 brochures is,
at 140.
and 75 would just be nice to have like a small number, and really the digital would be the,
Yeah, we print us, because I don't know if you're aware, but
Spending 150 isn't too, it's not too extravagant.
And where would we would just put these around the town and it's up to you.
I think
We can have him
But we have.
here, or
our
we can, if we
community-
have an event, if we have an event, we can bring him and on their events. And then just give him, what to call.
Yeah, unfortunately though, then that would get into ordering,
or
if you have
Yeah, you would have
50
to. properly
people at
order.
every event and you want to hand them out along with your program, it just, then we'd be making too
about-
many copies.
what about having here, in the lobby, we have that a rack
Mhm.
Yeah,
cards.
right.
What if it really was a hard pivot to digital? Cause we could put the QR code to the website on each new poster, each new flyer. So. You're still
It's not-
getting that
yeah.
access, but you're not having to reprint a lot of flyers,
I-
or,
I think, I would like, are we going, do we follow the same thing where we're gonna make a motion and then we're gonna vote here and then take it to the larger
Yeah, you guys-
committee?
Yeah,
Or is it
all
more
those notes are gonna have to be
discussion-wise?
reviewed by the
Of
committee.
course, but
And-
it's more just discussion.
Yeah,
We
that's for you guys
actually
to brainstorm so that, you don't spend your next full committee meeting on this
On
one
this.
item.
I would, I'd like to, what was the terminology used? Take a hard turn towards digital.
yeah, like a pivot towards digital, because then
Towards digital.
we can put the QR code on program. And we don't necessarily have to list every single upcoming event,
It's all on the
because,
website anyway.
in 10 years from now, that QR code. That's on this brochure, it's still gonna keep you up to date now, you're not gonna say,
Exactly.
you're not gonna pick up a 10-year-old brochure and say. okay,
Even a 1-year-old brochure,
Right.
the way things change.
And I really just want to emphasize that we are going through, like we're updating our website completely, because even now our website isn't really the
Yeah, like I
the
try,
newest.
I try very hard to keep rosters very updated, upcoming events on each
Yeah,
website.
that's just it. Things
But then
change
it's
so
like-
frequently. Who's on the committee,
Right.
who's
And it's
officers.
it's still
contact
tedious, but it's
information.
easier to update a website.
Then it
That
is
say,
big
okay,
dollars.
bring a quote to the committee so they can vote on it. Yes.
But I really wanted to highlight that because the new website that we should have sometime
In
soon.
April.
And
Really has a nice capability of keeping up with like filtering out like the committees and all that, like if this is what you're interested in, cultural affairs versus public safety, et cetera, like people can really navigate through it. It's much more user friendly and cleaner for you guys to like have your information all there.
I know we're moving away from the brochure, I'm talking about the website. But speaking of the website, a lot of people have been calling me about, oh, how do I get the application? So you have the application on the website in our, I don't know how you did it, and then people click on it and then you get the application. So I don't know, some
I'm
people
not
not savvy how to
sure
do it,
what
but
application.
that's how I did it. I clicked.
What application?
Yeah, I'm not sure what
Women
application.
of the station. You would,
The
you would have
Google
to,
form. Yeah, it's a Google form. You click on it and you fill it out and then you submit it.
yeah, but you can't even make a copy. I don't even remember what I.
What do you mean by making, but like just print it out? Yeah, you can print it, you can download it to your computer,
I think you can download your response.
or you can copy and paste it to a Word doc.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was in a hurry and I didn't copy. So, anyways, going back to the show. The comments, like I
But
said,
that's a really good idea also to have those events that come up, always have something that is time savvy, time proof, so that, okay,
Right.
this, do this, and it links you directly to that form
Yeah,
that,
link,
yeah.
or like registration for
Right.
events that don't have any nomination.
Like I've done that for the Elderly Affairs Committee, where I do one press release where it says, okay, here are the upcoming bingos for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So we're not doing,
So
hey,
it's
this
one hour.
bingo's coming up
Yeah,
next
yeah,
week,
yeah.
this one's coming up next week. It's a one-stop shop, like when you guys approve your calendar of events, that makes it very easy, because I can just go to your website, add every single event that's coming up. Update it as we get closer with certain details like performers or.
And when you have links or anything else, or QR codes or whatever else that you use, do they expire at all? Can you put a date on
QR
when you
codes-
don't no longer, when you no longer want to
Right.
like when today she was saying, okay, well, I'm no longer accepting, like, that's the cutoff date for the women of distinction. It was today, right?
With QR code, that's something that
Yes,
we have to, I feel like they're pretty time proof.
Yeah.
It depends on the website you're using. to
They
create
are.
them.
Okay.
Yeah,
But for the form, for example, the link will still take you to the form. The only difference is that I'm on the back end just pulling up.
Of course, yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, perfect.
Okay, one of the comments was, okay, these kind of photos, one of the comments was, I don't know, because I was thinking, if we do this, maybe, we didn't, I don't think this one needed.
I think one of the things we also talked about was captions and stuff in the photo.
Yes, I think changing the font was one of the things originally I wanted, but this kind of like overpowers the whole thing. And here I think we used the font that was easy to read. Here they were saying that there were too much open white space, but I think this is needed because I remember a friend of mine who was publisher for one of the local magazines. And they had this person that used to put so much stuff on the cover of the magazine that it was hard to read. So the more white space you have, the easier for the eye. So I think what we did originally, leaving, white space in between each one is effective because it takes you exactly, because if you put this too close, then it's like too cramped. And the idea is to open it up and it fits. I mean, this information is what we're going to put here. I don't think we're going to change too much of it. But I don't know, I think this was a comment by him.
So which one are you?
I
you
think
saying
this
you-
font is good to
You see
read.
it too?
This is like.
A little too, there's a little too much ornamentation on it.
Yeah,
Can you
this
follow
is
that?
more,
Oh, sure.
what is it? So Serene is the one that has the.
Hello?
Yeah.
And Sensory
So that,
without it, I think. For this purpose and even for the website, what is the font that you use? I know they have a standard, the Palatino is what they use for a lot of them. And I think. This is easy to read. This is too powerful, we're taking the photo. So I know the original one had. That Percy kind of thing, which. But I think this font is to match the.
I like the headings better on this one. But the print on this one,
the text, sure.
yeah, I like the headings are darker. And
Yeah, no, I
it's
agree.
I like, yeah, I like this.
And we can make it
Basically
softer,
saying
as
the
like a
same.
more. There's the three basic, because I do a lot of graphic stuff, and then there's three basic fonts that are easy to read. And they tell you that all the time. This is one of them that we did there, so we don't have any.
Yeah, we don't have the demographics for that.
And I think it's Arial, Dharma, and so I'll tell you the ones that we recommend to use for the graphics. And I think, like, for example, in the front, I know this one is kind of like,
So we got that again
Disappears,
in
but I
in an email,
kind
so
of my
we can have
image is
it.
overpowering.
when we-
Yeah, no,
Did you,
yeah.
you said you
So
resent
this,
it,
we could
sent it.
do this
Yeah,
one.
I just.
Yeah, I just did. So that we
The
can
agenda
We
already
could
been
do
generated.
this,
include it
this
in
one.
our discussion.
I mean, we're testing this to see how it looks. But the importance is fonts are very important in graphics. And I was reading about the Museum of Modern Art in New York, which I went to, it's a beautiful museum. They were struggling with their fonts because they have so many traveling exhibits and all that, so they decided to use one font that is applicable to everything, because they kept changing fonts and it was driving their graphic people crazy. No, I think that's what we need to do here, simplify the fonts.
So you want to use the same font for the entire brochure?
No,
Oh, okay.
you
Just-
cannot use more than 3 fonts, because it gets too busy and too complicated. So I think the text on this one, and she agrees, is nicer. But then this, we can change to something like this one.
So
Maybe-
let me show,
maybe
we
that-
showed the two, so I was
Maybe-
saying
maybe
that I
that-
thought the headings. I like the headings on this one. They stand out rather than these.
I mean,
But
Helvetica
the
is a good
print,
font.
the font on this one
We might
is a
know a lot
little
of
easier
What I
to,
use is what's scratch.
I mean, I think we're,
I like the fact that these are a little bit thicker, of course, and a little bit
Yeah, no, I
larger.
agree.
But I don't mind using this font here. I think that looks great. I really want to use the same font throughout the entire brochure. But that's
We
just
have
an opinion.
graphic wise, and
does it make
getting
it more
information from
expensive?
content demographic. people.
Changing the font for different things.
Because we have the fonts for our logo. Which it was created, I think this font is, it's just for the logo, I don't think. This,
What am I gonna make some maps for? Yeah, why do we have a town map on it? Why do we have
because
map
we're
location of the north?
locating the venues and.
Main Street Farmers.
We were hoping to do a brochure with the cows, but
Yeah, I think that was an element that was just carried over.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of,
Even then, that's something that they.
I say that's a lot of wasted space that could be used for something else because. I mean.
How does that relate to?
illuminate.
I mean, it's where we have it's where we have some of our events, but
Well, why don't we sponsor some of the people there in those, can we put pictures here of some of our local sponsors, like?
Because those
Mr.
are gonna
Gabriel's
change.
restaurant or
Those are gonna
something?
change.
I mean, a map is gonna change too, though. Like, I will say that's why,
exactly.
you know,
And that's
That's
why
why
the
it
number- the
doesn't
number
feel
of
relevant
cows.
to our purpose.
so I think. Not something that we can get rid of to save space. I think it's something that we can, like, we have this for the freebie. Where it's a much, I mean, this is
Mhm.
a rat card, like, it's very simple, straightforward. I wouldn't wanna condense so much onto one thing, but. If we wanna cut down on weight and, you know, what's necessary, which
See
is
the fonts of this how easy to read it out. That's what we need to use.
the necessity of something print is the QR
We
code,
have bold, we have.
the mission and vision.
Yeah, I think it's.
You got your reason why you have it.
Yeah, mission, vision, yeah,
Mission, vision.
and a QR code. Those are like the, like, non-negotiables of what you guys need. And then it's maybe.
Right, because this is wasted space, right?
Because that was intended to send out.
Yeah, it used to be a mail out,
Oh, okay.
which is,
That's longer than
yeah,
that.
for-
You know. I'd like to make the recommendation that we get it down to something very simple, but this is the key.
yeah,
That
and it
it's,
has a QR code, so it's.
that we go
very
digital.
Yeah, we can put that in. there.
but do you agree that we could get all of this down to just a card that just
No.
has mission?
No, because we need to show the picture.
Do you?
But we can
feel-
do it with pictures, it doesn't have to have all this print on it. We can just do pictures and captions and stuff.
So you mean the medium of the one, the
Yeah.
double-sided,
Yeah, I like the
Well,
medium of it, just one.
Yeah, here's who we
Wow.
are with some pictures, here's what we do, 2 sentences, I mean, pictures and captions tell the story the same way that we
And
can.
then the.
With a two-sided piece of paper.
Where they can go and then it's
Yeah.
so much. more
Find us here,
information.
and we can go into depth on the site rather than on paper.
Exactly.
It's just.
We all know that what happens with these, people pick them up and then they go into. Unfortunately, the
No, but if
garbage. They don't hold on to
people
them.
pick up things is because they're interested.
Right, but then they don't hold on to them. It's like, where's that brochure that I got? If they want information, they're gonna go right to the town's site, the calendar, the.
Felicia, I also think we talked about, if I may, I also think we discussed. Changing some of the pictures that were the same in the new one and the old
We
one,
talked about it.
because I see that in the
Use cover
front.
photos.
Right, so do you have access to some of our past events that?
Yes,
we
yeah,
have,
I gave him a bunch of pictures. And then found more.
We have pictures
And
from,
we have a
Since
picture,
back
remember
when
this
we were
picture, you said how we take this out, I found the one without it.
okay, so we're still gonna use the black and white photos?
I think is, if we put it in the right order, because this should be here, because you have to combine, balance out the pictures with the color. But I think showing historically what we used to have, it shows the history of our town, the same way that when we don't have this event anymore, but our history is based on Scotland. That's why we have streets that have Scottish names. So we want to combine, our activities with the history of our town. And
I agree.
I think it's important that people know how we started and where we're going.
But do you feel that that's something that we can get into depth
No, no,
within our
just show-
website,
just
or
show-
do we have to have an entire
No, no, we-
paragraph in our?
Can't discuss it here right now, but I'm meaning I'm gonna bring up a topic that I think is gonna be dealing with the history of our town, so. So that's what I'm gonna say right now. Because
So is that not gonna go on the brochure?
we can show pictures of it or past events. But as far as the history, that's another. I don't understand.
Jonathan, what
Otherwise,
did you
it's
call
too
that
much.
card? You know, name for it?
This is a rack card.
A rack,
Rack,
rack.
yes, like the rack outside. So what about more a collage instead of caption?
No, she wants a brochure. Is that right, Felicia? You don't wanna go this route?
Well, this is something that if we're gonna go on the web, we use to maybe this format. We can go and describe what we do more. This, if you wanna use it for people to get more information about our committee, because here we're not gonna put all our events.
But what he's talking about is a collage of photos, maybe with some
So
captions.
you still get a taste to it, but this is the hook to the website.
Instead of going this way.
Like you get mission vision, like a
So
collage.
this will be,
and
and this will be the
website.
format of the website, and this will be the.
It's a suggestion.
No, listen, I'm open to ideas, I like it, I think it's.
Because it just feels like we're doing the same thing for me, I've only been here a few months. I don't know what you guys have done in the past. I'm just looking at these two, but the pictures are the same. The layout is kind of the same and it just. Looking at it from different eyes, yeah, it does feel a little dated, which is fine. Because there is a lot of history there that needs to be showcased, and I totally understand that. I just, for the culture and the demographics, we have a city that is very technological. Not just people my age, but people that are Isle's age and your age and my students and everyone that we meet.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Everybody's
we're the
like,
least
like,
of the
what?
group.
No,
Yeah,
that's
a
true.
brochure.
No, I just think that the other day I said, these people are gonna get run over one of these days.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we keep going.
Yeah, on the street, crossing the street. I had an actual student who died like that. On her phone on 27th Avenue crossing the street.
Did they take a selfie on himself? It's happened, hiking and anything.
Anything now, so you have to be aware of these.
Careful. Okay, well, we can bring all these ideas then back to the,
Okay, so the
General
idea is to
meeting.
get the red card as a handout,
As-
and then the brochure kind of layout, a little bit more details.
Did
Do you want to do both?
my suggestion is do a rack
There
card
should be,
with a connection on it to then the digital, which the digital could be as detailed and
Yes.
pictures.
it should be the
Could look like this.
physical and the digital. I think
Yeah,
the physical should be the rack
physical.
card,
Absolutely.
and we transform the brochure into the vision of the website. So you get the
So we're
history,
gonna have two-
but you're able to update it.
we're gonna have two formats. Physical, which is the red card, and the digital, which is.
Right. Section two, we can do like that. Side collage, maybe the logo. The other side. Yeah, the other side, vision.
It's
vision.
important that we.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Two formats then, rack
Yeah.
card is the physical.
Yeah, these two.
Anybody want a haircut?
Oh, I do, here.
And brochure digital. I have that right then?
No, keep in mind, because obviously we need to prioritize on things that have actually been finalized. Jonathan, and I don't know if Jacob's gonna be helping you with that, will not start working on that until this is approved by the entire.
No, it's okay. I mean, this
Which
is.
could happen on Wednesday,
If I have to.
which can happen on Wednesday, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you guys know.
So that's just
And
3 days away. I don't know, we're a lot of
So
mystery
basically-
here, mystery
Yeah,
here.
We're gonna have two formats.
I have that, two formats, rack card, the physical brochure, the digital.
The red card is gonna have the connection to the website.
Absolutely.
And as an aside, I think
And if you want to do
We call it
some-
a QR
QR
code,
I think that's smart.
Q and R. the
QR.
letters.
QR.
I
And
think
then we'll. You know.
putting the cultural affairs website QR code on flyers and posters is
The fonts, I
actually
think is something that
a good idea.
visually we can work it out. I mean, I know people don't have preference for certain, but it's still really good.
Yeah,
Want to say,
Do we currently have something on our website where people can actually volunteer through us and it goes through the interest that they're showing to us, or is it a generic thing on the money leagues?
We do it based on the events, because not every event calls for a volunteer. So instead of having like a volunteer database, what we do is we post it, like, one of the groups that does a lot of volunteer opportunities right now is these activities in our parks department.
I know.
So they post their volunteer opportunities through,
No,
same registration. But you guys have to let us know for these events.
But can we do,
I think we can put,
if we're doing digital?
right,
I love what you said earlier about when Suzanne was saying that, let's call the activity a generic enough name, like you said, so that it's per month. And if it's gonna be digital, can we have a link, like Suzanne had suggested, so that if people already know that these are up, and I wanna volunteer for el evento on December, I can click on that link and be like, hey, call me.
So the event, the way that the volunteers right now is, like, let's say the event is on your page, on your website, the cultural affairs page. That's where all the events, regardless of volunteer or not, are listed, and that's where the link is to registration. That registration link, we usually use Eventbrite, and on Eventbrite, you have both options, to attend or to volunteer for the event. That's how they.
But that's not on ours, right? That's on the
No,
generic money
it's-
link.
Well, no, it's not generic. I don't wanna say generic because it is specific to the activity that's going on. We don't post volunteer opportunities just generally, like it's per event. It's there, if the event calls for it, then we'll add it.
And does that also happen for sponsors?
For sponsors, there's like a little,
right now on your
That's
website, it says for sponsorship,
Yeah.
sponsorship opportunities, please contact and then it's for information.
I think that's
What we
something
could
that
do-
we probably could transform into a little bit bigger deal on our brochure.
From the-
That maybe since we have space and we wanted to move some things around, maybe provide a couple of pictures of some of the events that other people have sponsored. Like, for example, when Mr. Gabriel did the whole card thing and you guys did the, and showcased Miami Lakes involvement of the businesses, but also say, this is where your money goes. These are the activities that we sponsor when we take from you or
We can do
give
that
from you.
digital.
And put it on the digital brochure so that there's some kind of form that they fill out. Oh, sure, yeah, I'd like to donate to this, or I'd like to donate to that, or.
but you're pretty much saying, like highlighting the sponsors, past
And-
sponsors, and the
Involving,
event.
yeah.
And the event pictures that are highlighted.
You can, why not? I like that.
No, that's fine, but I'm saying, that's pretty much what you're adding to it, because the sponsorship opportunity, like, they still have to contact us to obviously. get
Right.
their-
And can that also be added on there, on our?
That's however you have it worded, could be added to the.
I wrote down
Yeah.
here, digital should have a
Exactly.
link for.
I mean, I can-
Okay, I jotted down something else here. On the physical, the red card to have a collage of pictures. And basic vision and mission statements. This is more descriptive, I think that could go into the website.
Okay, so.
And then the rest could go in the website, but this is not that important. What is the
So,
purpose of the cultural affairs or vision and mission? That could go.
so, Felicia.
And
oh,
Continue because I was getting those done. And then use the generic name titles for the calendar. Yes.
I wrote that
And
down.
the other thing is to add texture. This is more graphic.
Okay, so,
Let's use background to give it more, so it's not a dull.
okay, so,
This one has like a nice background with the text on top of it, so. To keep it like we have it here, like we have the logo in the background, we can use that in the color. And highlight the best features. Got that? Anything else?
No, do you want to move on to new business?
New business. Are we set on this?
Yes.
So
I mean, we don't have the color of the rock card or, you know, that's the.
No, because the color could be the colors, because when we originally did this, we used the colors in our logo.
Just green one.
It's more like teal. Teal and purple, you can see in the,
I like that.
so we're gonna use the
So we'll use the color of the logo,
logo.
just
And
keep
it
it.
has like pink and purple and,
So you don't want to use that over there.
no, this color I think is
That is very hard.
is very much. We should keep
Color of
it.
logo, sounds good.
Keep or use color palette, what do you call it, color palette. Or brochure. Mm,
Remember, I'm taking minutes so that you don't have to write all that.
Yeah, but-
And then they'll be typed up and you'll get to see them.
Card. This color palette, what I need. Oh, I know. See. Okay,
Okay.
anything else, any other concerns, any,
May I see the one that we made the notes on, please?
and then whatever typos, you know.
Right.
Making sure that we,
Okay, so new business, name?
oh, new business, you forgot to put the burial additions. Is that part? You want to add something to new business?
I'm going down this, we did, there were no
There's no new
approval
business.
of minutes because there was no prior
So,
meeting.
any new business?
And nobody mentioned anything after public comments about changing anything on the agenda, so we're on new business.
New business, we don't have any new business.
Not unless you want to hit us with your history mystery.
Well, I mean, I can mention it to you, but then it's not fair.
No,
for
that's
us like a
fine,
meeting.
so
I mean, it's-
no new-
I sent you already before, can we share it with them now or no? Then you recommend? Or do you
If
recommend?
there's something that you want as part of the agenda, it needs to be submitted as part of the agenda.
Okay, so
So new business would be what?
I'm not sure, you sent me a couple with-
I sent you the agenda package
for the Wednesday meeting.
for the Wednesday.
Yeah, so it's part of the agenda.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't talk about it now, I'm just saying,
Well-
in general, whenever there's an
Well,
agenda, any
You're
attachment.
new business, so.
Right, in general, and there's nothing under it. So generally, when you have any attachments to the agenda that you want to share with the committee here, you have to,
Be listed.
like, it's
under
not
new
best
business.
practice for me to start with like
Right,
sending stuff.
exactly. It would
outside of the
actually
agenda.
need to be something
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So nothing's there, so we move on to announcements. There's nothing there either. Do we have to have another meeting or we're just going to,
As soon as.
why don't we just move
Well, it's gonna depend also on the
Depend on-
direction given.
Wednesday?
Next meeting date for this, next subcommittee date is. Question?
When we do this on the digital version of this, I'm almost positive. And I just, you are not gonna be cutting that.
Cutting heads?
No,
Oh,
because.
no, I think that's how it's printed. I wouldn't- I wouldn't.
And that actually was an event that we had for, I think it was our first Hispanic Heritage event. It was a beautiful event. It was stunning.
And we are gonna add some captions when we do pictures down.
When we do it,
Okay.
So we'll know what's might be, because otherwise it's just.
Yeah, it's just a lot.
I said that. So next meeting, we already we wrote that in about. So TBA, because we have to first have our general meeting to see where we are. Okay, so I hear them outside. I don't want to hold them up.
Okay.
Ready to adjourn?
What time is it?
6:25.
6:25. 6:25. Is my motion.
It's 22.
We adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input.
Get you the.
Well, that's it.
So, bye.
Yes, awesome. So.
I think I made some tomorrow.
Finish.
We're unmuted.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Secretary, will you please take the roll?
Bill Perez, Larry Gorman, itself. Gary is not here. Michael is not here. Nicole is not here. Me, Mario, Pedro, Ed. So we have quorum. We have quorum.
Yes.
Very well. Please stand up, remove your cover, and do the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence. Please have your seats. Are there any public comments? Anybody queued up, Jonathan, wise, Zoom wise, or whatever you guys call this crazy magic you do? Nothing? Nothing? Nobody here, so going on to public, beyond public comment. Any additions, deletions, deferrals? I know Michael wanted to add something. He wanted to add some kind of like recognition for the service of Lourdes and Martha did, and we should probably also include one Martha did. So I'd like to make a motion to add that to our agenda. Anyone want to second that?
Second.
Okay, Judy seconded. Anyone want to discuss that issue? Okay, let's vote on it. Is it okay to add that to our agenda? You know, recognition for service of the chair and past members. I'll say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, so that's added to the agenda. All right. Okay, next order of business is the minutes. Next slide, please. Let's first take a look at the old business, which was the approval of the minutes from 1/19. 2023. Which is page 7 of your packet. There was discussion whether or not you had to approve minutes for a meeting that there was no quorum. I went on the website of the Attorney General of Florida, looked up the rule and the law regarding sunshine law. And the law is clear. Yes, you do. Under the sunshine law, and there's right in the slide. It says that basically any meeting in which folks, yeah, that's the link. You want to, learn more about open government.
Do we want to go through it?
I'm sorry?
We don't have to go through it, do we?
No, we don't.
Okay, we do.
I summarized the law. I'll read. The law in essence is applicable to any gathering whether formal or casual, if two or more members of the same board or commission discuss some matter which foreseeable action will be taken in public commission board. There's no requirement that quorum be present for the meeting governing the law. That being the case, someone wish to move for us to adopt the minutes from 1/19/2023.
Martin, jump forward.
Okay, motion to adopt by Pedro, second by Bill Knickerbocker. Any discussion? All right. If you agree, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Okay. Any reason for your opposition?
I mean, I don't agree with the interpretation, this interpretation.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I don't think we're either a board, a commission, so that's what I'm saying.
All right.
And
No, I mean, that's. I think, you have a valid point, but I think we should defer on the side of caution.
I think the motion passes, right?
Yeah, but it was interesting. No, I mean, I thought about the same thing too. Okay. Next issue is the next minutes for February 2nd, 2023. Anybody want to make a motion to approve?
Motion to approve it?
Okay, by Pedro. Anyone want a second?
I'll second.
Bill Mickelbacher. Any discussion on the issue at hand? Dealing with the February 2nd, 2023 meeting? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Good. Veterans Committee report to the town. This is a draft. Any folks want to make changes, deletions, additions, please let me know. It's only a draft. Basically, I'm going to pass it around, but here's what it covered. We cover basically who are the new officers. We cover basically the plan to distribute scholarship funds with a reindeer run. We're going to discuss that later. I want to propose a program called Veteran Story Time. And that basically is something to go out and to elementary schools and have veterans just read regular children's stories and help promote civics and patriotism. It seems to me, from what I saw on the reindeer run when the national anthem came on, a few people around me were actually kind of facing the music, standing to the national anthem, and then a bunch of just like taking selfies and talking. Most of them, and I'll be honest, I got a little bit upset, but then I realized, what, it's not their fault. No one's ever taught them civics and patriotism. And where do you learn that? You learn that as an elementary school, So, so veterans that, I got to scope this thing out, and it may only be me once a month going to elementary schools in uniform or whatever, but that's okay. I'll do that.
We have a program that Gary, that American Legion does.
Yeah, and so I'm going to involve the American Legion as well and see maybe DFW. But that's something I'll like to discuss with the town council, because I would also like to get the ability to work with the Education Advisory Board. And so, that way they can put me in connections with principals and stuff to make that kind of thing happen. So that's why I'm bringing it up to the board. So that's something that's going to be on the memo. Veterans Park Development Plan. I think we talked about this, and that's also something on the memo that I'd like to present to the board and the council. And basically, the reason why I'm bringing it up to the council is so we can officially get direct liaison authority with Public Works. I want them to all kind of say, yes, we want Public Works to work with you guys on this development. Otherwise, I don't like this back channel stuff. I like everything official and upfront. That way, Public Works is being directed by the town council to actually cooperate with us. We call that DRLAW, direct liaison authority, and you always have to have the common commander approve it, and that's the town council. I think, what we're talking about is developing a multi-phase plan, kind of lay it out, have a concept. Everybody here has a lot of great ideas. And I think for the next meeting for next month, what I want to do is start gathering pictures and ideas and kind of concept, putting out the concept to include splash pads, to include, what they call clamshell stages, to include a cow, all that stuff. Okay. So let me just pass this around. If you want me to change something in the memo, please let me know. If you want me to delete something from the memo, please let me know. And then we'll do that.
They have it on page
Are
11.
they ready? Okay, so you guys have it on page 11?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry about that.
Please take a
So
look
how
at
would
that.
the children's books be vetted?
I think that's the Educational Advisory Committee's thing, it's gonna be standard children's books, I think it'll be books dealing with, service and sacrifice and those kind of things, you know what I mean? Just the typical virtue books that always are part of children's books, you know what I mean? It's not gonna be veteran story time is not gonna be somebody sitting there going, there I was in Vietnam, you know, it's not gonna be war books, it's not gonna be anything like that, you know? It's just gonna be basically children's books, and then the other concept I thought, Ed, is, you know, we can teach them how, the national anthem, the words of the national anthem, and, you know, and we can teach them some words to, some other patriotic songs, you know what I mean? You know, God Bless America and stuff like that, you know?
Marine Corps hymn, you already saw him.
Maybe, yeah, maybe, but more, you know, more the traditional, you know, Irving
Air
Berlin,
Force.
the old Irving Berlin World War II, you know, patriotic songs that almost everyone should know, you know, God Bless America, that kind of stuff. Just so they, you know, get a, you know, one, they see a veteran, two, they kind of understand service. And, you know, we reinforce it with, you know, a child book, dealing with someone doing, you know, service and sacrifice. There's so many of them out there. You know, so, you know, it won't be any book that, we bring in that's not been approved by the Education Advisory Board and approved by the school. We're just reading it. All right. Any questions, any issues on the Veteran Committee memorandum? Anyone want to make a motion to?
I do have a question. I
Sure.
thought we decided that the proceeds for the next one will be for scholarships, but this one we were gonna, it still wasn't really accurately explaining our mission when we publicized the race and
Oh,
collected the
I misunderstood that. Okay. Because your thoughts were, we advertised the race to give to one veteran?
well, to benefit veterans, I guess.
I mean, because this scholarship would go to veterans, families.
Okay, if you guys.
I mean, if you
think
have,
it's close enough and it sounds accurate, then I'm okay with it.
no, I'm just, what alternative do you have? Because it sounds like you have an alternative.
I don't, I mean, I've been getting things from Pedro, from Gary, from my experience with you guys so far, meeting people along the line at the events. Something local
Yeah,
that's directly, you know, impacts veterans. Again, last time we talked, I'm ready to give a gift card to every registered veteran in Miami Lakes. Hand to them, whatever, how much it divides out to, however, but I think that might be just not realistic to do right now.
yeah, that would
So-
be logistically
Yeah.
challenging.
Be nice to have that.
It would be.
So, but like, the scholarship is for what, like college?
That's one thing we gotta scope out.
Yeah, because then what, you're gonna give it to kids that go to private school, not public school?
That's one thing we gotta scope out, too,
It sounds to me.
you know? I mean, we gotta, the scholarships, you know, it could be based upon, but you know what? It doesn't have to be college. It could be private schools, high schools, and it could be for a scholarship fund, you know what I mean? It could be for the, you know, family.
So you're selecting, so if a veteran's kid goes to public, school,
Yes,
he's not eligible for the scholarship.
oh, sure he is.
But there's no tuition, so what's the money going to?
Maybe the money goes into his Florida prepaid program
So you're assuming he
as
has,
a
it,
scholarship.
or but you're assuming he has it, right?
Well, you know, the thing is, we're not directing them to do that. We're just saying, here's money so you can apply to, if you wish to put it to your child's scholarship, a scholarship for your child, for a technical school, for college, or for whatever.
I think it's a.
The award's being given not to the child, the award's given to the veteran.
I think us creating this right now, I don't think we have time for this to get, I think we need to really fund and get it behind us and then start opening up a new, this is gonna take more than I think. Than we think, to really
Yeah.
make it, figure it out, get it approved, fix it, do it. We're gonna be already running into like planning for the next one. I think it's great and it could be for next year for sure, for this year, for sure.
Okay, so we need to come up with an alternative.
Yeah.
All right. So what we'll do is, I will,
You know,
what's your alternative? You need that one?
and then.
I'm sure she's got.
I think for the purposes of the report, we can just update council and say that we're exploring certain options.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean,
Just
we have to
for-
cover, we have to cover the item, because, you know, we have fun. But we're just now saying, well, so for the purpose of the report, we'll just change it, to say we're exploring, several options. So I think what we can do is, for the next meeting, let's discuss those options. What do you think?
Okay.
Or you want to add this to the agenda now?
I mean, I have stuff from Gary. just suggestions that he had. I said, what do you know locally? I don't want to give it to something which goes into an ocean and doesn't do anything. And he sent me various things like Project Vet Relief, temporary financial assistance for the American Legion, any national emergency fund. I think that sounds big, but yeah, a couple more.
Okay.
Or just, how about the local American Legion? I don't know if that serves purpose.
Well, the local American Legion would be great, but you literally got. I would have to abstain, you would have to abstain, he would have to abstain, you would have to abstain.
Oh, so we couldn't vote it.
Well, I mean, the only people,
Well,
yeah,
we're all
still vote. We just have to abstain.
Form for the meeting.
The only people who could vote will be you and Ed on whether you want to propose it to them. Hey, man, that's the facts.
No, I agree.
You want to try it? So that what we have.
But didn't we talk about this before the whole thing? Like, weren't we?
We can't, okay, we'll do it later, we'll do it later,
Oh,
we'll figure it
okay.
out.
I thought we had discussed like.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is we decided that we would decide on our own
Later.
what we were gonna do later.
We
Yeah,
definitely
that
decided
was
not to
wrap-
build statues with it. That's
Not to build statues, not to build.
Capital improvements at the park, no, not fair, not what we said it's gonna do.
Okay, so let's put it to a vote. What are the three organizations we have? American Legion, Mango Lakes Post 144, which is very local.
I like that one.
The other one is some global entity that this is probably a drop in the line.
Yeah.
For those guys, what are the other ones called?
And then Project Vet Relief, which is run by, I think, the American Legion, but in Orlando.
Okay,
And it has no overhead or paid employees. And it provides financial assistance to veterans and members of our military without requirements of membership in the American Legion.
I will tell you, last time we did that, like we vetted organizations, and it was, I think it was Naeem's last year, like.
The fishing people.
The fishing people,
Yeah.
because so I had to look at all like the tax returns and stuff like that to make sure. So I agree with Bill, like some of those big organizations, you won't even feel it. And I remember from fishing with vets.
But
How
he
much
had
they
so much,
appreciate it.
fishing people had so much, I had everything set for them.
No, I'm not saying to use them again. I'm just saying that maybe I don't to postpone it, but like. Just make sure, because obviously American Legion know where that money is going to, you know what I mean? As opposed to some other big organization, you know, if the CEO of
Right.
the
it's taken-
charity makes
40%.
$500,000, or if it goes into this or that. Which is what we saw with the other organizations that were
yeah,
that time.
yeah, because the administrative costs,
Yeah,
that's the thing, you know, the administrative cost can eat up donations very quickly.
very good.
So if we were to give it to the American Legion, what would happen to that money, for example?
Yeah, we use it, I mean, we use it, give it to many people that didn't need, actually, a lot of people, a lot of veterans. That need help, we help, we'll be doing it that.
Yeah, I mean, the American Legion Post 144, we sponsored that
Yes.
elderly affairs dinner. They gave away 10 TVs and fed all the elderly for Christmas. And provided a bunch of, you were there.
Yeah.
And so, and then they did another, they do a scholarship fund for kids. They do a leadership camp for kids, their boys camp.
Is this all the veterans only?
No, it's open to everybody.
Okay, so then maybe we're
We go to
misstating.
few
our-
schools
the
and we'll
Boy
be
State-
in
Boys State, Girls
Boys
State,
State,
it's
Girls
basically
State,
trying to encourage
Scholarships for
leadership.
that.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So I mean, it's all, and basically, the 144 post, we only look for Boy State and Girl State for local Miami Lakers, you know,
Kids in their local high
any area, yeah,
And they apply for it.
they apply for it.
Just to make sure that we're doing what we say, so if we're gonna give it to the American Legion, is it gonna benefit our veterans, or is it gonna get kind of spread out to what we didn't say? I'm just concerned about
Well, I
how
mean, you know, the veterans,
we marketed the run and what we said we're doing with it. And I wanna
well, I
make
will
sure-
tell you this, you know, with also the veterans, we do luncheons, we do this, you know. I know if we give it to the American Legion, and I'm biased, I have to say, I'm the vice commander of this Legion post, you know, for all honesty, but I know what they do, and I know that they will use it to support veterans in Miami Lakes.
So maybe we'll table it. You guys the American Legion come back with a proposal of what you will do with it.
to commit to what the
Right,
funds will
say,
be
hey,
allocated
this
to.
money is gonna go
It's
to
for this, and then we can.
Just say that again, we're not gonna make sure we.
So we'll table it for this
That's a
meeting.
good idea.
Send it back to the American Legion. Jonathan, do you have to report for how much money we ended up with?
I do.
Oh, how much is it?
After all the expenses, there were a lot. It's $17,000.
Oh, can I look at that whole
Yeah.
report, please? Because I have more like in the high 20s.
What exactly would you like us to present this to the American Legion?
I'd like to send it to the American Legion, you guys come back with a proposal of what you will do with the 17,000.
All the different programs we will allocate the money.
Where that
to.
money
Would
will
you,
allocate.
would you care to come to the American Legion meeting and present the proposal to them directly?
No, I mean, I think we could do it.
No, but
This Saturday. Notice the 4th, the 11th.
I'm gone. I'll be out this month.
Saturday,
I'm out the
we
10th
need
to the
Saturday.
20th this month.
I think we could definitely work that and have this, because really there's two people deciding. It's Ed and Judy, you know, no matter where this goes, it's Ed and Judy, because the rest of us have to abstain because we have a conflict of interest. No, we have a conflict of interest. We are,
Well, you definitely should.
no, it's a government.
But we're
conflict of
members of that organization.
You would benefit directly from.
Yeah,
Exactly right.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, we did.
You could, exactly.
We wouldn't necessarily, but we certainly
Good,
could.
right, you don't want the.
It's gonna you guys think.
And I also believe that we should, you know, scope out that alternative program that you talked about.
Well, but what Judy's saying also makes a lot of sense, right? Because it's like, you know, when your college calls you to donate, you can direct them exactly. Like I go, hey, University of Miami, I want my money to go to the Department of History. That's it,
Right.
Right? So that, I think that's a very good.
And I think, you know, and the American Legion, if they want the money, they need to provide all the programs they can use it for, and you guys decide where it should be directed.
I'm pretty sure we're going to go.
All right, so, someone make a motion to table that and to.
Second.
Pedro, make a motion to
Make a
table this
motion to
issue.
what?
To modify that subject on the Veterans Council memo, saying we are still, like, whatever the word is that you used, Jonathan, was fine. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Move on.
Real quick, do we, want to look into reopening public comments?
Oh, that's
Do
right.
you have it?
No,
Yeah.
just upcoming events.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to reopen public comments and recognize Officer.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Just, the, Easter egg, this is the spring thing from the Youth Activity Task Force. Gonna be on the 18th, Veterans Park.
Of April.
Ton of kids. Of April?
Of April.
April.
When's Easter?
April.
Are we talking spring fling?
April, Easter is, on the 8th, the 9th, on the 8th.
April.
Yeah, April 8th.
Yeah,
The 18th is, thank you. 18th is the bike ride and,
April.
Are they going to use real eggs or very expensive?
The border.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's the chip committee. On the 18th. The Brianna Vergara 5K is on the 12th, March 12th. That one I got right. Sunday the 12th, and it's gonna be at Veterans Park, kind of like the 5K that, same route as the one from the one you guys had, in December.
That's what they,
That's on the 12th, or 2 weeks from now. Sunday morning.
that's the Gugera Foundation or who?
Brianna Vergara. She's the girl that passed away from the heart condition here at the Dance Academy on Main Street a few years ago. And the family has an organization for that, and they take the money and give defibrillators, and they actually do free. The test is a 5-minute EKG, and they've saved a ton of kids because it normally doesn't get done, but because of them, we go the Nicholas Hospital here in Miramar and get it done, and they pay for it.
Where's the cost?
Well, thank you very much. All right. Next issue, that we already discussed. The memo, we discussed the reindeer. All right, community support request. I'm passing around for your review, DD form 2536. Now, what this is Department of Defense form 2536, and it's requests for tactical vehicles for the Veterans Parade, and the reindeer run. One will be a static display, and the other one will be. I've talked to the town, and they said that I have the authority to directly liaison with DOD. So what I plan to do is, there's a few tabbed areas, and I kind of need Jonathan and Judy to stay after to help me finish filling it out, because there was some information I did not know. And once it's filled out, I'll sign it, scan it, email it to the Marine Force Reserve website that handles it. And then I'll hand carry it to the commanding officer of the instructor unit here in Miami. He's Lieutenant Colonel, you'll see me. And then hopefully we will be able to get some vehicles. At least that's the process, to get it for the parade and to get it for the reindeer run. Okay. So once you looked at it, please, I need a motion to approve the forms and a motion to approve me submitting it to the appropriate Department of Defense agency.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, anyone against?
I like the idea you're proactive on this and doing it now rather than waiting for just before the event and then.
It'll never happen right before the event.
No,
I mean, I can tell you right now, if something came to me 2 or 3 months before the event, as a chief of staff, I go, their priority is not my priority. Not throw it away. So that's just the way it works. So give it a head.
You also request like a flyer, a monthly flyer.
Yeah, we could. There is an aerial one. That's the lower picture. There's a different form.
Yeah, we have the Memorial Day ceremony, and we have the 9/11 ceremony. You're all cool with that flyers. Like, we've had them, but not a good flyer. Things happening, straight over off the flight pattern.
Just happened above the tower.
well, that's actually an issue, is because Veterans Park is not far from the approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd have to get it cleared.
They can coordinate the approach along with the flyer.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they would do. I mean, what I'll do is there's a different form for that. Because this one's non-aviation, as you see, the other one it says aviation request. And I'll take a look at it. And see if we can request that. All right. Yes, Pedro.
I just want to tell you, in case we needed a stage for any of our events. The stage costs $1,500. I can get it for free from Renee.
Fantastic.
Okay, because he's lended to us many times before.
I think you'd like to do us for the.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Hopefully it's not on that list of bills you have.
It is.
It is, no, it's supposed to be 0.
We can walk through it.
Okay,
Was that the stage? Was it 5K? Because that was a nice stage.
yeah, it was a showmobile,
Cost
it was supposed to
$1,500,
be 0.
to give it to us. I
Beautiful.
mean, it's been donated for 4 or 5 years
Oh
now.
my God.
Oh, promises made in the dark.
No, I have it all over my email, 9 million of them.
Oh, okay. Okay, the next issue, well, I do want to go through that, since you do have the account breakdown, and I want to go through that.
Well, not of the entire account, just I did like a little notation.
So why don't we do that right now?
So we're gonna go out of order?
Yeah, we'll go out of order. Well, we're going to talk about the reindeer run anyway, the proceeds, so this is not too much out of this.
These are all the
Thanks.
places. These are all the sponsorships,
How much in sponsorship total?
a hair under 49,000.
Okay,
Is that the
that's
summary?
about right.
Okay. that's
Wait,
good.
go to the top, what was it? What was the top?
Race time, this is just the payout from race time, so that's registrations, I think we have
Oh.
one sponsorship. That's
Okay, good.
so. These are expenses.
Did we get charged for the stage?
Can you make that just a little bigger?
Yes.
Right there. Fourth from the bottom.
That stage should not be on there. That it should not be on there. I mean, we begged for it for free. We almost didn't get it, and now they charged us for it. That is wrong. Can you talk to Aisle about that? She knows.
Anything else that folks promised us and then they charged us for? Because everything, every dollar spent on overhead is less money we can give a needy veteran. And if they promised just for the virtue signaling, I don't mind calling them out. Anything else you see, Judy? Well, do me a favor, Jonathan, can you please
No.
forward that to Judy so that way she can. go
Yeah, I was
through
gonna say, we can,
Everything's fine except the stage.
we can look at, well, we can still look at our list and.
Yeah.
And I guess consolidate,
it, and we can review that.
yeah, just so we don't.
Okay, back on the agenda. Rules Subcommittee, here's my thought on that issue.
Would have never suggest that. The band was $1,500. Why would I have a $3,700 stage for $1,500 band? Like it was, they were giving it to us. It was a favor.
We'll figure it out. We'll go. We'll take care of it. Rules Subcommittee. Basically, one thing I noticed is, we have, a lack of rules and, requirements to do certain things, like, I'm not too sure who rates a military banner. I have not seen the rules put out on who rates a military banner. And the problem we have is, it seems to be like a free-for-all on military banners. Some folks are residents of Miami Lakes. Some folks are not resident of Miami Lakes.
Gary called me and said, hey, have you put in your thing for the banner?
Mhm.
I said, Gary, I haven't put it in because I don't live in Miami Lakes.
Well, and here's the
And then
thing,
he said, oh, no, but you're a member of the American Legion in Miami Lakes, and therefore you're grandfathered in so that you can get a banner. And I said, yeah.
but when you take a look at the Miami Lakes website, it says Miami Lakes residents who are veterans, apply for the military banner.
What I'm showing is that people were put, Red Central and $2, they both agreed to pay for any banner, as long as they were a member of the American Legion, they could have a banner in Miami Lakes, whether they live in Hialeah or wherever. And that was, and Fred
Fred.
offered to pay for it, and Tim said he would pay for whatever Fred did.
Actually, Fred's paying for the banners on Hialeah.
And Fred also paid for
$11,000.
banners.
Sorry, go ahead, Ed.
If I may, I remember one of the first meetings that you said you also saw people like, I don't want to speak, claiming like either medals that they couldn't possibly have earned. or
Yes.
stuff like
Oh,
that.
well,
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that also.
I mean, well, so that's another question. I mean, who's doing the vetting?
Yeah.
I mean, because around this table, we have folks with enough experience that we can read it, DD 214.
Right.
And we can see whether or not they rate what they rate, and we can also tell if the DD 214 has been falsified, because you can download one, you can type stuff in it.
We uncovered one of them when we had the, one of our meetings.
Yeah.
We were talking, we were people that applied for a grand marshal.
Yeah.
One of the DC 214 were totally bogus.
Bogus, yeah, that happens. So, and it happens a lot more than you think, and people, false valor happens all this more than you think. But so one of my concerns, and I'm sure Ed has it too, is, because I saw him shaking his head in approval.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the military banner program is a Miami Lakes program. It's the town of Miami Lakes, it's great. Ed is just a sponsor. So we have to be compliant, whatever the rules they have or what they want. And, what I would recommend is, I do a straw man rule, a draft rule for the next meeting, and you guys can say, okay, that sounds good, that sounds bad, et cetera. And we'll see where we go. So, same thing for Arbor Day, and Arbor Day is coming up. Do we have rules? Huh? a nomination, or do we even have rules of eligibility? No, not that I'm aware of. So again, I'm willing to draft, eligibility rules for, Arbor Day tree, memorial, because that's a living memorial that lasts. As long as that tree lasts, And so it should be something that a lot harder to get, much harder to get than a military banner, because it's much more costly and it's a lasting memorial. So the sacrifice has to be so much more. And then the other thing, of course, is the grand marshals for the veterans parade, how do we vet them? How do we do all that? What are the requirements and all that? So we got two options, we can either stand up the rules subcommittee, and I'm not a big fan of a subcommittee, us today. Or I can do the draft thing like I did with the memos, and you guys can just tell me, okay, Bill, good idea, bad idea, change this, change that. So who chooses that I just do a straw man draft and you guys chop it? Anyone, those in favor? Okay, you make a motion to approve that?
I'd like to ask a question.
Sure.
When you say that you're just, what if someone else has someone they want to do? Nominate, that not be accepted because of what you on your list?
I'm sorry.
If, when you did a straw man, maybe.
Okay, the straw man, okay, a draft, I'm doing a draft rule. So for example, let's say for the rule for military banner, I'll say a veteran who's a resident of Miami Lakes or who has provided 5 years of voluntary service to the town of Miami Lakes by being a member of a committee.
Yeah, he's gonna draft proposed
Proposed
qualifications,
Proposed qualifications and criteria,
not he's gonna be the person that's gonna be on the banner.
and then you guys I'm not gonna make the choice
Right.
on who's gonna be on the banner, but I'm gonna try to draft proposed rules and
Like a
criteria
cutoff.
as to who can be on the banner and who cannot be on the banner.
Right.
And, and so we can say, so that's basically what I'm looking at is a rule saying a Miami Lakes resident, a veteran who's a Miami Lakes resident, or who has provided 5 years of volunteer service to Miami Lakes as a member of Miami Lakes committee. Well, that's the thing, or they work in Miami Lakes, or, right, and you guys vote on it.
On the case of the banners, is somebody paying, who's paying for the banners?
It's Fred.
Okay, then I would think that before we establish a set of rules, we probably ought to talk with Fred and make.
We can invite him here next meeting.
Okay, and make sure that he's in concert with that set of rules, if he's gonna pay for it.
In the town.
You invite him, we'll invite him.
Right,
Town of Miami Lakes pays to hang them up. and that's-
pays to hang them up and all
It's
that.
gotta go with vote.
Yeah, it's gotta go to vote.
Well, the town of Miami Lakes is the one who does the application process.
No, they don't vet very well. We've already.
And then basically Fred is the funny sort.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure, we'll run it by Fred. Once we have the draft proposed rule, we'll run it by Fred. See what he says. Again, but Fred is not part of the committee. He has a say, but he may not have a vote, in the end, it's up to all of us. So, but he does have the money, so maybe we have.
The other thing with those is that they should be in the past.
And he always out there.
The people that vetted the people for the banners, it was the banner company. So in effect, they were never vetted. So someone gave us information, it was just put up there. There were no copies.
I think, I think that's another part of the rule that we need to do, implement and then have the town implement, because the town gets the application. And in the application, you have to upload your DD 214.
Right.
There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to have a subcommittee that reviews that, a banner subcommittee.
And keeps maybe even a list, so you don't have to keep approving them every year, right? So Joe Smith was already approved, then it's
Well, the first time, I think we did that. Willie was the one here.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
checked it,
I
we checked it
remember.
over because I remember I have few and I said. we checked
Okay,
it
so
over.
we had a motion on the table to approve the drafting of proposed rules and criteria for
Second.
several issues. Seconded by Pedro. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, so that motion passes, and I'll draft it for the next meeting. Okay, next issue, Arbor Day nominee. I have not heard any Arbor Day nominee from the town. No, I'm aware of any Arbor Day nominee that I can think of. Does anyone know anyone who died after many decades of service in the military,
I do want to say, I think,
died as town provided town service at town and was a veteran.
oh, well, I was informed that, I believe the Elderly Affairs Committee was going to try to collaborate with us, to see about maybe honoring Scotty Cook. I know there's a question about, the veteran, the service side. And, is Arbor Day, how Arbor Day should be celebrated, I don't know. I was informed that they're gonna discuss with us.
Arbor Day isn't necessarily a veteran holiday. Arbor Day.
Right, that's what I was,
Yeah.
the word soup wasn't coming out very good, but
And there are non-veterans who serve.
Well, anyone who serves the community or whatever.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, we can come up with
The
an Arbor Day.
Veterans Committee and the veterans can honor a non-veteran who has provided service to the community.
Exactly right. And that could add that in the rules.
Right.
Or a non-veteran who's provided
Well said.
decades of service. And we gotta figure out how many of them. One or two. So,
A decade is a long time.
a decade is a long time. Just one, maybe. Who knows? We'll figure it out. It's just a number. Okay, next slide, please.
That was a.
Okay, budget review and reallocation. Do we have any line item shortfalls, Jonathan, that we need to reallocate funds to?
I don't think so. I will admit, I completely forgot to.
When do we have to submit our budget by?
That's starting very soon. So next month, we should really start considering my items, what we need, what we may not need.
Okay, so let's table this issue and discuss it next meeting.
You require a copy of last year's budget, Sean? Okay, for the next meeting.
Because it'll give reference for what we spent, what we didn't spend, what maybe that we can cut out. Or reclassify if that's an option. I don't know.
The only issue I've seen there is the fact that we didn't have enough allocated for the parade.
That's what I was thinking about, yeah.
Parade was underfunded.
Well, there is no allocation under the veterans. It's out of the communications budget. So that's another discussion. If maybe the communication side handles the non-negotiables, right? So it's, I guess, security. I guess I can't think of anymore, or like the decals for the event. And then the veterans could come in, maybe get their own line item established where they can cover, the fluff. So maybe the size of the stage or, certain decorations down Main Street, stuff that's more, gaudy instead of necessary, like how cultural affairs maintain the 4th of July. Where we pay for the fireworks, the town covers the fireworks, those have to happen. Everything else like, food, water, games, the non-essentials, those are sort of covered by the committee, to make the event, I guess, more fun. So the communication side budget of the veteran grade should go up anyways, because it hasn't.
Okay. So let's table this. I move to table this issue and present it next month so we can do a full budget review and allocation. Someone second that? Larry seconds it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving right along, we're not going to discuss the criteria for the reindeer run and scholarship. That's for next
We
year.
have one thing on the reindeer run now. You're trying to start planning the reindeer run. It takes, roughly 9 months is what the Jingle Bell Jog starts out with, and we're just about 9 months out now. So I think that we need to set up a
That's right.
subcommittee for that. Hopefully Judy will do that again, and we start to get the ball rolling for our planning for next year.
Thank you, Larry, because that was actually 18, and I forgot to cover it. We need to stand up the reindeer run 2023 subcommittee this month, based upon Judy's recommendation. And we need someone to volunteer to be the head of the subcommittee.
We will make a workshop for you.
For very specific, different conditions, will I do so?
Okay, so what are your conditions?
Well, I listed out last time what we need. I can't do all of it myself
Yeah,
again.
you need basically an action officer to provide for each of the specified tasks. Logistics, the swag bag handling, and what are the other tasks?
So
There's 4 tasks.
Commission work with the town, like, and work through all the items that the town handles.
All right, so let me propose that if what I recommend that folks right now volunteer to assist Judy. I volunteer to assist Judy in the subcommittee.
I help you too.
Okay, so we have the 4. Each one of us gonna have a specified task that we gotta report to Judy about. Okay, so there you go. You got it. So do you wanna do it now?
Okay.
And I gotta tell you, we got lucky there.
I'm
All right.
serious.
Oh, wait, before, she's fine. All those in favor of approving Judy, get ahead of subcommittee, say aye. Aye, okay, unanimous. Thank you, Judy.
Please help me speak.
No, we will be here.
But it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's good that we're starting now.
Yes,
We're having clearance now. Instead of, I think planning for it properly started in.
and the good thing is that I can access the young Marines.
Which does.
You know, which is their, you
Yeah,
know,
we really need the young Marines.
Yeah,
community service, and I can, if I get them in early, I can get them in to do it.
That helps a lot.
Yeah. So we got that going, okay. Yeah. Did I miss anything else, Larry, on the new business? Thanks for checking them, I really appreciate it. All right. Next slide, please. Additional items, the only thing that was what Michael wanted to add was recognition for folks who have served previously. They've done it 2 ways, or they've done it usually one way, they give the person a plaque. I want to make a recommendation that we consider maybe a gift card of some type. I will personally fund the gift card because town money is town money, and I think as the chair, these folks kind of volunteer for the committee, and quite frankly, as the chair, you're tasking them to do things and asking them to do things. So basically, you decide, do we want to do a plaque or do we want to do a gift card? Who chooses? How many folks would rather have a plaque?
I think, can I add something?
Yes, go ahead.
I think the gift cards roughly, I mean, it's kind of insignificant. I mean, when you buy somebody a gift, it really is one, you know, it. Be a letter, a plaque, a little something.
I was thinking, you know what, that's a very good point. I was thinking a letter signed by the mayor
Yeah, council.
and the council.
Certificate, you can use a certificate.
Yeah,
I've
certificate.
done it to me many times.
You know, like,
Certificate, very simple, very.
And maybe we can all send it.
And a
to
nice ring.
frame.
Oh.
And presented during one of the council meetings up here.
Okay, the nice frame's a lot better than a ring. You know what? That's even better. That way there's no out-of-pocket cost for anybody, and it's what the town should do for their volunteers.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a motion on the table? Larry, do you have a motion on the table to propose that it be a letter from the mayor or certificate from the mayor?
Provided you need the offer.
Sure, I can write the letter.
And I'd like to make that.
Second,
All right, all those in favor say aye.
aye.
Okay, the motion's passed that we have a letter that I draft for the mayor to sign to be part of the certificate, letter, I guess, certificate of appreciation that he gives
Yeah,
out.
and maybe what we do is we tell you that you have to give it to the attorney, so in a week after he come back to you and say.
They're pretty good with that. I mean, I saw them, they gave a bunch out there in the elderly affairs lunch.
On my annual stationery, when the township letter should be drafted on the town state letterhead.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's gonna be a letter, they have certificate forms.
Do you mean a proclamation?
No, I'm talking about
It's
certificates.
certificate.
They have certificates of
Proclamation.
appreciation. Yeah, they have them. They actually, I saw them, the
No,
town.
I know, I'm very curious.
Okay, I'll use that.
The mayor's aide, Joe.
Joseph, yeah.
Joseph. He's all over that. Okay,
I'll talk to him about that.
okay, so that's it. Next issue,
Could I do, I guess, like a little liaison follow-up the last meeting? Just some questions that we had that I got some answers for. The flags at Mary Collins.
yes.
I went over there and I took pictures. They didn't look to be in bad shape. So I just want to know if we have more like solid, like what do we want to do for them? And we can't have them here. I ran it by Claire.
Here's our question. Any specific reason?
Thank you.
I mean, they don't take much space, it's gotta be going. But okay, the
Yeah.
flags, the point is, when people are always going into that room behind Mary Collins Center and moving things around, flags get on the floor, they get kicked around, dirty, whatever, they need to be in,
Broken.
yeah, they get broken, they need to be in some sort of box.
I think room 6, Mary Collins, we have a lot of flags there for the American Legion. Or we have a lot of stuff, I think it would, how many flags,
I think it,
room 6,
I can go to, I don't know.
Certainly,
room 6, you can do it. You can put it on the side.
Well, what I did when I took pictures, I put them in their. In the stand, put them up in the stand, the weighted stands, and I put them along the wall, so at least they're not the things that. People feel they need to shift them because they might be in the way of anything. I guess if we want to store them, we have to.
When we
either
take a look
display
at,
them, display them or store them. one or the
when
other.
we look at room 6, what Pedro recommends.
Yeah.
So look at the feasibility.
Stand or room 6?
Yeah, we do our meeting,
Yeah, that's what we do, the Legion
we
meeting.
go to the Legion.
Oh, that's room,
Standing up there is.
Yeah, this side, yeah.
yeah, no, that's room 4. Yeah,
Room 4?
Okay,
Oh, okay, okay.
so right now they're.
We can have them in display room.
This is one, this is what I did with it.
Yeah, that's good, that's what I think.
Yeah, we can just put them in display.
Yeah,
room
that's what we-
4.
oh, this-
Yeah,
Somebody needs to physically go over there and do that.
I did that to take pictures and like take note of them, just so we had an idea of what.
Jonathan,
Nobody had
somebody
it,
needs
so-
to- somebody to physically go over there and move them into room 4.
No, that's what it is right now.
Oh, there is-
you're making floor ready?
Yeah.
All right, then solution done. All right, you solved it, John.
Contact
You're the
military
best.
vehicles. For the military vehicle contact, we'll
Yeah.
talk after, right?
Right, the flag's missing here. 1, 2, 3.
Those are the only flags that were there.
Oh, it's on the other side.
There's one more flag missing.
Maybe
Oh,
the
we'll
other
find it,
side.
we'll find it, we'll find it. We'll find it. Yeah, don't worry.
Well, that goes around, like in budget stuff, it's gonna come up soon, so we might, we'll have to try thinking about it. Oh, for the reindeer run, I know we decided 9 or the 16th. I will be here the 16th. It doesn't have to be me present for it to happen, but we should look at
Ideally.
keeping that, every regardless, having that earlier date, because the closer we get to that.
It's almost the same as our date last year, so it's kind of nice.
Right, it's, yeah.
Do it.
All right, December 9th.
And motion, put the figure run on the ninth.
You make a motion to put the reindeer run on the 9th by Judy. Anybody second that motion?
I do second.
All right, Mario seconds the motion to make the reindeer run on the 9th, Saturday of December. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You're opposed?
Is it-
Army
is it-
Navy.
That was Judy and who?
Mario.
Mario second.
Anyway,
They didn't know this year.
next slide, Army Navy games.
Oh, Army Navy.
Next slide.
Next
Next slide is adjournment. You want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, anyone second it? Judy just did. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Did
If I can
Roger,
see Judy and Jonathan.
7:22.
did Rogers?